So in this video, I'm gonna try to teach you guys, for those that do not know what a demon is. You know, so many people, they make friends with demons. They don't even know it's a demon, right? It's like I made videos before saying that the devil doesn't come at you the way you think. He doesn't come at you with a red cape and the whole thing, right? With the horns. So I got a clue to give to you so that you can know if you got some demons, and then I'll tell you how to take them out. Okay? Now, take a sandwich as an example. The sandwich has the loaf of bread on each side. Say that the loaf of bread is what you portray to people. You know, the outer exterior of who you are, the waving, the smiling, the courtesy, the manners, the principles, the ethics, the how you carry yourself. Let's say that represents the bread on the outside. Now you have the ham and the cheese, right? The meat and the toppings on the inside of the sandwich. Okay. Now, if the bread represented that of what I just said, now what does the ham and cheese represent? The inside. That's where the demons are. The inside represents what people don't see on the outside, right? The intentions behind the heart, the snickering, the mocking, the scoffing, the thoughts that you have in your mind, right? The envy, the stuff that you desire for people that is wicked. I wish you would get in a car accident. I wish you would die. I wish you hear people say abominable things like that, right? They don't even know what they're saying a lot of the time, right? Go to hell, you know, they say. These things are going from the inside of the heart, right? This is the ham and cheese of the sandwich. Now, have you ever watched something that, let me see a good example here. I'm still sick, so excuse me. A good example of a demon operating would be, I'll use my cousin as an illustration. I was trying to rehabilitate my cousin. And so I was like picking her up from the house, and I was taking her to my house. This was years back. And, you know, for Bible studies and whatnot, just mentoring her, period, you know. She was going the wrong way in life, drugs, all that stuff. So I would pick her up, and then one time, on the way back, there was a severe car accident. And the car had, like, it was on the grass, crashed. It was bad. And so we all got out of a car. You know, we stopped. We were like, "Hey, man, you know, is she okay?" And like, I looked to the left where my cousin was standing. You know, she was outside of the car with us, and she was snickering. She was like smirking. She had like a look on her face, right? And she was smiling. Not like this, but it was like a snicker at the incident, the car crash. Rejoicing in a way that took place. Now, that wasn't my cousin. That was a demon. Right? The demon was probably thinking, another demon did that, good job, proud of you, showing its accomplishment through a smile there. So I use that as an illustration, as an example. No sane individual would smile at such a thing, right? Now, I'm not, like, I come from a place with myself, you know, back in the day, before I was saved, before I was born again, I had many demons. So I understand that realm probably better than a lot of people. I understand how they think, how they talk, how they move. And because I had so many of them. and they tormented me day and night. So I know how they function, right? And a lot of the time, like, I would get next to a person. I recall this, okay? It's crazy. So I would be working at Home Depot. I have so many stories. It's not even funny. I was working at Home Depot at one point, and mind you, I'm on the inside, right? But the demons, they would manifest themselves on the outside. Meaning, they were doing stuff with my face that I didn't know what the heck they were doing. And I was somewhat of a captive. I didn't have the understanding, the resources, the know-how of how to thoroughly be cleansed and purified and get rid of them all and this and that. So I was in the transition, I was in the process, but I hadn't fully gone through the process as of yet. So they still had footholds in my life. And I recall, like, my supervisor, my manager, at closing time, he would open up the door for us because it would be locked. My shift was from 6 p.m. to midnight. So at midnight, we all huddled next to the door for him to let us out. He had to do it with the key. So we would wait for him. And as I waited, as he was jingling the keys and this and that, he looked at me and he said words that I didn't feel like I was portraying this at all. I didn't feel like this was what I was doing towards him in terms of like I didn't mean this guy any harm. That's what I'm trying to say. But he said to me, "What, you're gonna hit me?" And I looked at him like, I stayed quiet. I stayed quiet and I was just like, "What are you talking about?" In my head, I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But I didn't say anything. And I just waited for him to open up the door, and then when he did, I walked out. Like, I'm here because you're the guy with the key, and I'm waiting for you to open the door so I can leave. But he saw stuff that I didn't have any control over, or I was aware that I had demons, but I wasn't aware of what they were doing with my face. And often, and trust me when I tell you, this happened often, they would misrepresent me to the world. See, on the inside, I was a very easygoing, calm, submissive, loving type of dude, like friendly guy. But on the outside, people thought I was a murderer. People thought I was a mass murderer. They're like, are you safe to be around? And it was the demons. It wasn't me. And I have so many stories, so many. But that happened to me frequently and often. So it's a story about demons, right? And eventually, I just really, I had a lot of them, first of all. There wasn't just one or two. I had a lot of them, It was like Legion kind of stuff. And, it was a big, big, big process for me to get rid of all of them, And it was a lot of deliverances, a lot. And so I just want to let you guys know that, demons, they dictate your actions a lot of the time. They impress upon you what they think you should do. So it'll come in the form of a thought, followed by a feeling, and then an impulse to go and do it. Almost like the impulse is them like, "Go, now go." You know what I'm saying? Like, and then often people listen, they follow, right? You usually I was like with the drugs and stuff like that. And the impulse was like, go smoke, go drink, go this. Let me see if I can look for ways to teach you about these demons, man. They would show me imaginations, which the Bible backs up, that they put imaginations in your mind, and they use your imagination to get you to picture stuff that, for example, like for me, they'll always put me in a situation where I was either getting shot, getting hit by a car, or this or that. And lo and behold, it really happened in real life. Now that I think about it. They would always put me in situations where it was life and death kind of stuff in my imagination. Okay? And then it would just replay it over and over and over again, over and over and over again. For me to buy into it, receive it. Because there was always this, you know what the glory moment for me was? Why it is that I would entertain it in the first place? Because in the normal, people would say, why would you entertain you getting shot? That's not like entertaining. Well, the glory moment there that they would make it out to me was, in the demonic world, you know, getting arrested is cool. The attention that one gathers when they're in handcuffs and they're walking and they're handcuffed and people are watching, and you know, some people have their camera phones out and taking pictures. People are hollering out certain things like, you know, let them go or this or that. Like, that's their glory moment, you know. They're a criminal, they deserve to go to jail, whatever they did, right? But in the demonic world, that's a glory moment. Make no mistake about it. That has gold dust all over it, because that's like, although it only lasts about 30 seconds to 2 minutes before, you know, that walk from them getting arrested to the squad car. That's like the movie, the clip that they play for the person to buy into the scenario that this is a good idea. Because look at the attention I'm gonna get. I'll probably be put on the news, or people will talk about me. You know, that whole sphere of influence right there, of people talking about you in the demonic world, that's like so big, you know. Because when you don't have God, people mean everything to you. It's like you make a God out of people when God is not in your life. That's how it was for me. When I didn't have God, people were my God. Right? What you thought about me meant everything to me. Everything was about how you perceived me to be, and what you thought about me, what you said about me. So if you said something negative about me, then that was like really the most awful thing you could ever do, right? Because reputation was at the cloud level. The bar was all the way up there to the clouds. And so that's reputation, that's image, right? So that's in the demonic realm. That's how they function, that's how they operate. They get people to move and do stupid stuff, and they use stuff like that to get them to do it. And I recall, like, as I grew and grew, the imaginations, they took a turn. You see, they started off with me fighting, you know. In high school, they would show me, the demons would show me an imagination of me brawling, 3 people at once, winning the fight, this and that. And that imagination would be a tape that would just play for hours and hours in my mind, and I would just entertain it. And then I would find myself in school, like, bumping into people, saying, what are you gonna do? like in real life. Like now it's no longer an imagination. Like now it's like it was prophetic in its own way. Like they were speaking it into existence, kind of stuff. Uh, so it goes to show you what the Bible says about as a man thinks, so is he. You know, if you think about it, it's gonna come to pass. So like, where was I? Oh yeah, the imagination. You know, as I grew older and older, the imagination started to change a little bit. So I went from me brawling to then me getting shot and hit by cars and stuff like that. To I remember one of the last imaginations that they were using on me was that I died in the imagination, right? That they were getting me to buy into and entertain. Now, I recall that my story ended there. There was no glory moment for me to purchase. It was like, why do I want to entertain that? I don't want to die. And it's like people are huddling over my body and they're just looking at me and they're just like, he's dead. And I think it was like a murder that they were getting me to entertain, right? And so hopefully maybe this will help some people, not entertain this garbage. I just recall that on that specific imagination, I was puzzled because in the imagination I tried to resurrect myself. I said, they shot me, and in the imagination, right? Because they played out the movie, and the movie was a whole little 30-second clip of me being in a scuffle, and then they pull out the gun, they shoot me a couple times, and then I go down to the floor, and then blood drips out by the side of my mouth, kind of stuff, and then like I just lie there. I don't get back up. So I look, I'm like, okay, get back up. No, it's like that's it. That's the end. I'm like, no. Let's. Okay, and then he gets back up, and the ambulance comes and resuscitates him, and the demons. I didn't know that it was demons then, but the demons were like, no, you just stay dead. Like, that's it. That's the end. I was just like, no, I don't want that. I resisted the entertainment of that. Like I wasn't gonna let that play on in my head over and over again. So it's an illustration of how demons move and what they're trying to influence a person, what area they're trying to move them in, destination they're trying to take them to, and stuff to watch out for, not to help them destroy you, because they need you to play ball. They need you to cooperate with their agenda in order for them to achieve their desire, which is destruction for you. They need you to play ball. So I resisted that, right? I didn't go with it, and who knows, If I had entertained it, everything else that I entertained came to pass. Who knows, right? So something to think about. I'm not gonna make this video too long. I'm gonna end it right there.